Hey Isabella, how are you?
Hey, I'm alright. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for coming in. So, I guess the last time we met, you were just sharing with me some challenging family relationships you were having, and
Yeah.
just wondering how your week has been and what would you like to share?
Um, it's been okay. I just feel like I do so much for everybody because maybe I rely on everybody else's opinion and how much I do for, part of my own self-worth. If I feel like maybe I am not doing enough for everyone else, that maybe I'll feel kind of down about myself, but it just all around it's just no good because like even this week I needed some help with an errand. I needed to bring in some paint from the store, and everybody's always just too busy to help me when I need help, and I always just feel like no one's there for me, um, and it's frustrating for me.
I can imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're constantly giving, 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 and then you feel like you're not receiving, you
Yeah.
know? So, a little bit about your family background, if you want to share.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how many brothers and sisters you have, and your.
Yeah, so I have one brother and one sister,
Mm-hmm.
and both of my parents work, so they're always busy, and my siblings have a job too, so they're always busy, and um, it, I know they have to work, but the way that they don't, take any time out of their day just almost makes me feel like they're, just not looking out for me, like, because I'm always looking out for them, and they're always working, or they're always just somewhere else. So everybody has a job, and my sister and my brother go to school,
Mm-hmm.
so everybody's always very busy in my family.
Yeah, I see that. And then you just want to be able to maybe share some of your feelings with them. But have you tried like talking maybe with your mother, for example? What kind of relationship do you have with her?
It's good, but I always kind of feel like my or her issues are more important. So, like, if I feel like I want to share something with her, I feel like she's got too much on her plate to where I just don't really want to share. I don't really want to share how I feel because I don't want to make her more upset.
Only if you're comfortable, but can you think of an example? Like you can remember where you did share something with her and then you felt kind of disappointed with her response, maybe?
Yeah, it's like sometimes she can be like really, really nice and like listen and be very empathetic, but a lot of times if I will share what I'm feeling, she'll just kind of brush it off and be like, oh, well, you know, start talking about something else and we'll change the subject. And that happens a lot, and that's disappointing for me.
But what happens when she changes the subject? Have you ever said, "Hey, mom, I told you something that was important to me. You think you could?"
Yeah, I could probably say that, but a lot of times I end up just feeling bad, and I end up just saying, oh, well, you know, she got all of her own stuff, and now I just have to listen. So,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I don't know. I think you're valuable. You're just as valuable, to her
Yeah.
as she is to you. And sometimes being honest and genuine with people, it's like kind of telling them what you also need is
Mm-hmm.
important.
Yeah.
And I think it would be important for your mother too,
Yeah.
because ultimately, she loves you and she wants to have a close relationship with you. And like you said, she's busy, and a lot of times maybe she's not even conscientious of her sort of like invalidating you in a way,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe for her she does have these feelings of pressure and a lot of things that she needs to accomplish. But you are a priority to her, and your feelings are. It's just getting in that special way, being able to communicate. And you have a voice, you know, and you are valuable, and you have needs, right? And it's okay to express them.
Yeah.
Now, what your mother decides to do in response to those will be her decision, and getting to the point where you may have to kind of accept that, or maybe it'll be a different reaction, more than you hope for. But the thing is honoring yourself and saying, okay, this is what I would like from you, Mom. This is what would help me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Have to like stick up for myself almost. So
Yeah.
definitely need to try that.
I mean, it's a special, beautiful gift to have a loving and caring heart. So that shouldn't change. Because sometimes I think people will come into therapy and it's a lot of focus on themselves and what they need, and how they need everyone to understand, and it's sort of like, it can be a sort of like a confusion that happens when people maybe like develop more of self-centeredness. But no, in the sense that you have a beautiful heart, a beautiful gift, right? So you don't need to change that part. But being able to establish those special boundaries and say, hey, guys, remember the paint that I need help with? Hello, you know, and getting comfortable with those little steps to say, hey,
yeah, sticking up for myself.
yeah,
I know. I grew up being there for her a lot because I'm the oldest kid. So I grew up, you know, having a little bit more understanding than my siblings and what's going on. So I felt like because of that, I always, you know, maybe felt responsible because I had more of an understanding to be there. And I felt responsible for, you know, caring for everybody because I was the oldest. So I felt like I kind of took on that role in a sense, and, you know, just never got out of it.
Oh, and you're living right now currently with your family? Yeah. Would you like to get out of that role?
I always feel like I like caring for somebody, like, because I do feel like that makes me happy. Like caring for like an animal or, you know, whatever it is, I really like to do things for other people and, you know, just help out. But to take it on in such an extreme, I really don't want to do that anymore. And it almost feels like I grew up really fast because I had to do that. Because I just took on that role, and I feel like that, you know, shaped my identity a little bit.
Sure. What do you think would be a step to sort of slowly take on a new role with your family dynamic?
Yeah, I think, you know, starting to choose myself and set those healthy boundaries. And I know that can be hard and that people don't always like that because they want you to care for them and do what they want, but learning to say no and tell people, hey, I did need help with this and I would really like help with this, and starting to learn to set those boundaries for myself.
Yeah. I still, you know, invite you, if you're comfortable, maybe have like a dinner with your mom, because I feel like in many ways mom is at the core of the family.
Yeah.
You know, and when your mother would be relaxed and it would be a nice environment, you could have a real honest talk. You know,
Yeah.
do your very best to maybe make that happen and just be able to have that conversation with honesty and genuineness and even if, you know, maybe have a plan, well, if she starts to get distracted or she starts to go in another direction or maybe she starts to tell you her problems, you're just going to lead her. You said you like to take care of animals, so just picture leading her back and, you know, just gently reminding her again, Mom, you know, I've talked to you about the way I feel and I, you know, would like, you know, if you could possibly listen and just and see her reaction.
Yeah, I definitely need to have like a set talk, you know, with her and with my family, just to be able to express that. I think even would be the good start to a change. Because if I don't do that, then it's like I don't think I'll ever get anywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely need to start.
Well, we talked about excuse me. We talked about the conversation you have with your mom, but besides conversation, there's talk, and we know there's action. So what would be one thing that you feel you could act upon that would kind of sort of, you're slowly stepping down as that role of doing for everyone, slowly, sort of like in a healthy way, removing yourself from all those responsibilities?
Like, you know, maybe noticing like if somebody doesn't pick up after themselves or you know, something gets left out or done, maybe I just, you know, leave it there and actually verbalize to somebody, hey, you left this here, or saying just verbalizing to them, hey, you know, I'm not gonna pick up after you, and I need you to, you know, follow through with your responsibilities, and, you know, not just sweeping it under the rug and not saying anything, but actually just leaving it there, knowing that, you know, everybody else is an adult and that they can deal with their own stuff. So maybe just verbalizing to everybody else that I would appreciate if they would follow through with their own responsibilities.
How old are your siblings?
My brother is 17 and my sister is about to turn 19.
So let's think about that. Now, what would happen in your world? How would it affect you if those items, dishes, or whatever it may be were left out, or the food or whatever? How would it make you feel if it wasn't put away?
Yeah, I mean, that happens a lot, and it's very frustrating on surface level because I feel like, you know, people care about their space and their surroundings, but it leads to create a very stressful environment for me because I see everything everywhere and it feels very uneasy, you know, being in a space where you feel like there are things to do, but at the same time it's frustrating because it's like I don't want to have to pick up after everybody, but I also don't want to sit in this space where I feel so uneasy.
So that's a difficult thing right there, because they may or may not pick it up.
Yeah.
And really, you're their sister. The rules have to be governed by your mother. It's not your responsibility to clean up after them.
Yeah.
And it's also not your real responsibility to tell them to put their stuff away.
That's true.
So this is a very kind of difficult spot to be in, because you have to decide what is more important for you.
Mm-hmm.
Even though in the perfect world, you'd like to tell them to clean up after themselves. But really, they're adults with their own decisions to make, right? You're not the housekeeper,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not really the authority in the
Mm-hmm.
home, right? On the flip side of that, if they decide not to clean it up, you might feel overwhelmed and frustrated by being in a messy environment. So, what if they don't clean it up? What if they never clean it up? What do you do then?
I don't know. That's what's frustrating, because I have to make that choice, you know. To make that choice, am I gonna, you know, suffer through dealing with everybody else's problems, or am I gonna sit in this frustration? You know, am I gonna cause uneasiness by saying something to someone,
Yeah.
even though it's not my responsibility? Because, like I said, my parents are very busy, and I don't always feel like they have time to you know, say things. I mean, the thing is, I know that they should, but again, that contributes to me feeling like I have to do something about it.
When your parents come home, is the house neat most of the time?
No.
Because of your siblings?
Yeah, just because of everybody's stuff, nobody doesn't clean up after themselves. So, you know, there'd be dishes and be shoes left all over the place, and, you know, nobody will clean up a food or trash. So usually they do what they need to do, and they, you know, go to work, or they always have some type of excuse.
Right. Well, I mean, you could do a few things, right? So you could either clean it all up, and then that doesn't kind of feel right, but if you choose to, that the environment will be neat maybe for that time, the next day may be messy again.
Yeah.
Or you could clean up your own stuff and then accept the fact that you've done your part, you've been responsible, and whatever they choose, that's their mess they have to lie in, but you can feel comfortable knowing that you did what was required of you to do, because your stuff is completely cleaned up after.
Yeah, and I feel like that probably would help more, like, you know, just accepting that I did my part, and then I have to be at peace with that. I know that I did my part, and that's all I should do. So yeah, that would probably be more helpful for me.
I think it's symbolic too, because we're never going to be able to have people be the way we may want them to be.
Yeah.
They may change on their own, they may be inspired, but it's sort of like letting go. Letting go of any sort of control, and knowing that you are responsible for yourself, you know how you like things and everything. And I think it would be a very positive step to make, inching away. And you're a young woman, and the reality is you will not be living there forever.
Yeah.
And you will have your own apartment, and you will have the freedom to choose how you would like it to be, how would you like it to look. But I think it's a good step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know, it's showing like, hey, I'm responsible for me. You've got choices too, and it's a test of patience too, and acceptance. And then it can build up from there, and you can make bigger steps from there.
Yeah, and working on just choosing me, and I think, you know, starting to slowly stick up for myself in the ways that I should. Because I think that's what's right. I think that will really help.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have the You know, you can definitely have that conversation with your mother, and knowing A, it could be very communicative and effective, or B, she may try to detour and distract and move on to her own problems.
Yeah.
You know, you could see, like, feel discouraged with that. Or D, embrace the fact that you were courageous enough to have that little bit of confrontation.
Yeah.
And you went through with it. And that's another way to build yourself up.
Yeah.
You know, you spoke out, and that's all it is. You spoke out. You shared your feelings. Can you change your mother?
No.
To be a different person?
Yeah, no.
But can you change yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where your power lies. You absolutely can.
Totally.
So I love what you shared today.
Thank you.
And then, you know, you have such a beautiful heart, and I love that about you, and a soul. And you are a natural helper, and that's a beautiful thing. And the world embraces people like you.
Thank you for your help.